Dear racing fans, we've been waiting for you. We've been working, prepping, training, putting together thrilling races, high stakes, favorite traditions, and fresh experiences. From right on the rail to the top of the hill. Whether it's your first meet or your 50th, we can't wait to welcome you back this fall. Love, Keeneland.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Keeneland Look Ahead podcast. Jeremy Plonk here from Horse Player Now, and as the open says, love Keeneland. If you love carryovers, this has been the meet so far. We had the big $100,000 carryover in the Super High Five a couple days ago. $100,000 carryover in the Pick Six on Friday. Nobody hit it on Friday, so we go into a Super Saturday, the Queen Elizabeth, the Challenge Cup, with a challenging Pick Six that puts up $408,658 within a penny or so. In the carryover pool, that's all dead money for you to win and all of us to share. Let's get after that. If you didn't play the Pick Six today, it was pretty crazy. You picked a good day to sit out. Winners on the card. 3 of these were in the Pick Six, but overall 19-1, 10-1, 34-1, 14-1. Desvio at 34-1. The big bopper over $70 mutual in winning the Sycamore Stakes for trainer Madison Myers. Johnny V, ageless. He's just riding out of his gourd here at Keeneland this fall, but he's not riding on Saturday. So John Velasquez is going to be on the road riding at Aqueduct on Saturday. No huge races in New York, so it was kind of surprising not to see him maybe heading home to visit the family. But Johnny V not riding Saturday at Keeneland after yet another stakes win for him on the Friday program. Hey, favorites went 0 for 10 on Thursday. It didn't get much better on Friday, 2 for 10, the performance there. You take the final 2 races on the card at prices on the Wednesday program. That means favorites are 2 for the last 22. At Keeneland, 1 every 11. Favorites hitting at a brisk 9% here over the last 22 races. That's how you get the prices. That's how you get the carryovers. And that's what's been going on. What a day we've got for you coming up on Saturday. We're going to preview it all. 10-race program gets underway just after 1 o'clock. Again, we've got the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup as the feature race on that 10-race program. We'll handicap each and every one of those races in just a moment. A couple more notes as the audience starts to gather here on the live podcast. Irad Ortiz with 2 wins on the day today. Not a huge shock there, but Edgar Morales getting a riding double at Keeneland. How about that? 2 wins on the card for Edgar Morales. He scored early in the program. And in race number 8, in Allowance Company today, mark it down, October 10th, 2025, in race number 8, we may have seen the winter book favorite for the Kentucky Derby. Unbelievable performance by Further Ado, an Allowance Company for trainer Brad Cox. A 3rd career start for this one. Stretched out, and what a massive performance. A 20-length victory in that mile and a 16th race by Gunrunner. The pedigree's all there. Spendthrift Farm. A lot to like about Further Ado. I'm sure he'll probably head to Fairgrounds for the winter, as most of the good Brad Cox horses do. Last year, he sent some for the winter down to Gulfstream. Remember, it's a Pan Street running so well down at Gulfstream in the winter. We'll see where Further Ado may end up. Maybe Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes at Churchill at the end of November. Of course, Ned Toffee earlier this meet, or Ted Noffey, Ned Toffee, they go back and forth. Ted Noffey earlier this meet in the opening weekend, winning the Breeders' Futurity in scintillating style. But his time in the Spendthrift colors didn't match up with Further Ado. He ran one of the fastest races we've seen for a 2-year-old going a mile and a 16th at Keeneland. Beat some really good horses over the years who didn't run this fast in Breeders' Cup Juveniles. Nyquist didn't go this fast when he won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile back in the day. Champion like Essential Quality didn't go as fast as Further Ado did today. Some really good 2-year-olds over the years have not run like that. And a 20-length victory, we just haven't seen many races like that with some quality competition. You get a 2-year-old allowance race at Keeneland, you get some pretty decent runners in there. Now, maybe it'll turn out there was really nothing behind him, but he ran fast, he did it impressively, and he ran straight as a string when you looked at the head-on replay. Really exciting horse. Further Ado, we'll see what happens to him over the fall and the winter. And as we get towards the Breeders' Cup, Keeneland may have the 2 big horses with Ted Noffey, probably the favorite for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile coming out of the Breeders' Futurity. And now Further Ado, a horse probably not headed to the Breeders' Cup, but certainly a horse that we would be looking at potentially for the Kentucky Jockey Club, or just laying up for a winter run in the spring after the first of the year, down at Fairgrounds, down at Gulfstream, maybe at Oaklawn, somewhere along that path. But really exciting, the 2-year-olds coming out of this meet at Keeneland. Let's get into the 3-year-old fillies and the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup and a full card of 10 races for you right now. The snapshot of the program for QE2 day on the 11th. It will be day 8 of 17 of the meet. Sunny skies, 70 degrees in the forecast. Should be fast and good, fast and firm. Excellent conditions for racing. No question about it. We'll start things off in the opener with the pick 5 on races 1 through 5. Race number 2, we'll start the early pick 4. Got a key play for you in that one. The pick 6 with that big $408,000 carryover will be races 5 through 10. So getting underway in the 5th, which also starts the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. And as you see, the second orange of the day, my second key play coming up there in race number 5. The late pick 5 starts in the 6th, the late pick 4 in the 7th, Keeneland Turf Pick 3 in race number 7 as well. No new wagers kicking off in the 8th, but in the 9th, it's the featured Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup and the Keeneland Turf Pick 3 final leg in there. And we wrap things up with the Toyota Super High 5. So what a great day of racing we've got for you. Let's see what we can do in the handicapping circles. Nobody had a great day yesterday when you talk about, the amount of long shots that won. If you caught 1 or 2 of them, you had yourself a heck of a day, though, at the gambling windows. Let's start things off in race number 1 for you. We've got 4 2-year-old races in the first 5 races on the card. And in the one race, it's not for 2-year-olds, is for horses that are non-winners of 2 lifetimes. So look, the strength of this card is in the back half, but that doesn't mean some good plays aren't early in the program. I've got one of my key plays coming up again in race number 2 and another in race number 5. So let's start here in the first. I've got number 5 in here, Don't Even. First-time starter for trainer Wesley Ward. We know Ward's prowess with these 2-year-old first-time starters. Definitely in the spring, but still very strong here in the fall. This is a restricted auction race for horses who were sold for $65,000 or less, or were a homebred horse not sold at auction. Don't Even was a homebred for the Wicks family, and Wesley Ward has a bullet workout out of this one. Victor Espinosa, Triple Crown winning jockeys, riding some horses here at the meet for Wesley Ward and others. I've got Don't Even on top in here at 4-1. Not a strong feeling in this race, though. The 11 Gallant Ace is the first-time starter with a decent work tab for capable trainer here, Ethan West. I thought this one by Maximus Mischief, that makes him a grandson of Into Mischief, might run well over the course here. It's been training over at Turfway on the synthetic. Machado will ride there. But again, I've got it 5, 11, and 2. The 2 is Gnome, the most experienced horse in the race with 3 starts, has the best experience of the horses in the race. 2 second-place finishes, 1 on dirt, 1 on turf. Those at Indianapolis and Ellis Park. Last time out at Kentucky Downs, backed out of it a little bit after some trouble. Gnome at 7-2 in the morning line. Figures to take some action in here. I don't have a strong feeling on race number 1. I've got it 5, 11, and 2. You see the 8, Cielo gets a top pick. The 4, No Bees gets a top pick. Kim and I both going with Don't Even in here. So I think this is a race where you want to get some coverage in, obviously. 5, 11, 2 if you want to go with Tom and Scott and throw the 4, 8 in there. This would be a spread race if you're playing the early pick 4 or the early pick 5, which starts in this race. But you better have some stronger opinions somewhere else, I think, because this is a race not really to kind of dig into 1 or 2 horses unless you've got a better opinion of it than I do. We'll move on to the second race on the card. The early pick 4 starts in this one. Non-winners of 2 lifetime in here. Older horses, 3-year-olds and up. 6 furlong sprint here. You're usually looking for some horses who can get out of the gate a little bit in these kind of races. And I think number 1, Corman's got a shot as a key play on the card. 15-1 in the morning line. Wayne Catalano's already got a win at the meet. His claimers win 30% here at Keeneland during fall meets on the dirt. He's 6 for 20 over the years with some limited strikes since we went back to dirt. Of course, back in the old Arlington days and the polytrack here at Keeneland, Catalano was a stalwart here in the fall meet with his runners. Doesn't have as much going now. The Chicago scene's obviously calmed down, and Catalano's horses here are more limited in numbers. But again, he's already got a win at the meet, and he does really well when he shows up with his claimers here. And this is a horse, Corman, coming out of a race at Churchill Downs in June. Trainer change from Joe Sharp. First time with the barn, but the workouts are good. And I think this horse has one of the better maiden wins anybody has in this race. It's a non-winners of 2 lifetime. Number 1, Corman did break the maiden special at Horseshoe Indianapolis back in November of 24, about a year ago. But this horse, again, won a maiden special on a pretty decent circuit. That's going to stack up well with these lower-end non-winners of 2 lifetime. Give me number 1, Corman, and put me on the island. Nobody else has Corman picked anywhere. I think the other logical players in here, the 5, 7, and 8, which are horses that everybody else kind of has in some shape or form. The 5 Chance is the top pick by everybody else in here. 1 for 19 lifetime. So, I mean, do you have to settle for a horse who's 1 for 19? It is a class drop for Tommy Drury. Tyler Gaffleone named the ride there. Tyler went down today in a spill. We'll get an update on his condition to let you know how we're looking for Tyler in the morning and what his situation might be on the latest news on Tyler Gaffleone. But Tommy Drury's got this one with really no early speed, trying to come from way out of it. 6 furlong sprint. That's not necessarily the way to go, but I get it on the class drop. And this horse probably has the best form in the field. But that's why I thought we could pull an upset here. I've got 1 over the 7, 8, and 5, the other logicals. I'm going to try to play this race in an exacta key box, looking at the 1 with the 7, 8, 5. So if the 1 runs first or second in any combination with the 7, 8, 5, we'll cash the exact. You also might look at a trifecta, 1 with 7, 8, 5 with all, and 1 with all with 7, 8, 5. Try to catch one more price horse in there with Corman. 15-1 in the morning line. You hear me saying exactly. You hear me saying try. It should not be forgotten that you want to get win money on a horse that you like who's like 15-1. But because the horse is a big price doesn't mean you only play win or only play place. Go after the exotics. This is how you make a score. And again, get paid when you're right. That's what this game is all about. So we're going to take our shot with Corman in race number 2, 15-1 for trainer Wayne Catalano. We've got some prices throughout this card. We've got to kind of juggle which ones we like a little bit more than others because I've got another long shot coming right back here in race number 3. No wagers begin here in race number 3 in terms of the multi-races except the rolling doubles, of course, and the rolling pick threes. Number 1 so special one here is 15-1 in the morning line. Kenny McPeak trains. He's heated up here in the last couple of days. Couple winners for McPeak throughout the course of this week. Flavian Pratt will ride here. And this is a horse who's sired by Vacoma. Hasn't run yet over the track here at Keeneland. So special. Broke the maiden Ellis 2 starts back. Tried the Iroquois Stakes to no avail last time in Graded Stakes Company at Churchill. Back in a 2-year-old allowance race here. And so special by Vacoma. Vacoma coming into this meet was 9 for 21 with his offspring. They absolutely lit it up here over last year and this spring meet. So I'm looking forward to So Special, maybe really liking the track. You get an inside post. McPeak's barn is heating up. You get Flavian Pratt to ride. I think there's a lot to like there for a horse who's 15-1 in the morning line. Maybe doesn't stack up on speed figures, and that's what's going to turn a lot of people's nose. The speed figures are in the 40s to this point, but again, the races were on the turf at Ellis, and then the race at Churchill was kind of outrunning that spot. We don't know what this horse is going to do over this track, over a dirt track going around 2 turns. I think So Special, though, bred to like it here at Keeneland, and I like the McPeak barn going along with these 2-year-olds here at Keeneland in the fall meets. Give me the 1 on top in this spot. I think there are a lot of other good options in here. Number 2, the 7, the 5, the 8. This is like a spread race to me, even though I've got a 15-1 shot on top. If you're playing the multi-race wagers, I think you want to get some coverage in this particular spot. The 1 is the top pick. Vamos Ya, the 2, 6-1 in the morning line. Didn't get any pace help last time when still rallying to win the debut at Horseshoe Indianapolis. By Nick's Go, a horse as a racehorse, loved the track here at Keeneland, including winning the 2-year-old Breeders' Futurity at the same mile on a 16 trip. Brad Cox just had one run a hole through the wind today, further ado, in a similar 2-year-old 2-turn allowance race. Wouldn't be surprised if Vamos Ya comes right back and represents the barn pretty well. A lot of good ways you can go in here. The 7 Rancho Santa Fe is also Brad Cox. So all the same things we just said apply by tapping a family tree. Pretty good blue hen mare there. This is a really good homebred for Gary and Mary West. Won the debut at Ellis Park. A lot to like in this race. A lot to like in this race. The 8 Gloves Off is by Nyquist. It's run only on the turf to this point, but Nyquist gets a tremendous percentage over this racetrack. A lot of these horses bred to like it here at Keeneland. I know it's only an 8-horse field. The temptation is going to be to really narrow in the multi-race wagers, but I think this is a race where you can get some pretty good shots in here to take. But Rancho Santa Fe is the 2-1 morning line favorite. I don't think you have to settle there. I think there's some other good options at some better prices. If you look across the way, the 5 Infiltrate, who I didn't even mention to this point, top picking here for Scott. It's a Brendan Walsh trainee. This horse won the debut race at Ellis Park back in August. Looking to make it 2 for 2 lifetime by Oscar Performance. Gloves Off, top pick in there for Tom. We mentioned that one by Nyquist for Owen Hardy. So I think there's a lot of different ways you can go in here. 1, 2, 7, 8, 5. I mean, any one of those 5 are in the mix. But from an intra-race gambling standpoint, I really want to get after So Special in this particular spot because of that 15-1 value. And if this horse, I think will hold the decent value because the buyer speed figures are just so low that not going to get respect from that kind of handicapper that's relying on the figures. So let's see if we can't get that one in at a price. Back-to-back 15-1s in the morning line picked on top here with Corman in race 2. So special in race number 3. We hope the aces are wild here at Keeneland on Saturday. Next up is race number 4, 6.5 furlong maiden special weight for the 2-year-olds. This is a similar race to what we saw in race number 1. We call that a split division. So many horses entered the race that they made 2 races out of it and split it up. So a lot of the thoughts and angles that you might have going into race number 1, they're going to double up here and be useful to you in race number 4. Maiden specials going 6.5 on the main here at Keeneland in the fall. Usually first-time starters and horses out of the Churchill Downs meet dominate these kind of races. We did see a couple horses today from different locales have some success, which was a little bit off Broadway for what we're used to seeing. A horse from Del Mar won one of these races today. A horse from Colonial won the other. But again, over time, it's definitely been Churchill and first-time starters that have had the most success in these spots. Number 4, Sleeping on Freedom, is a horse from the Churchill Downs meet. Not a lot of Churchill reps in this spot. 3 of them in all. Sleeping on Freedom, the 4, Race Ready, the 9, and the 10, Crypto Corey, who I'm going with in here. Crypto Corey is 15-1. So if you thought the 15-1 was crazy in the second that I picked, and the 15-1 in the third was crazy that I picked, about 15-1 in race number 4 as well. I will tell you this, I handicapped the races long before the morning line comes out in terms of printing my past performances and doing my handicapping. Actually, it's right before this show that I actually go on and scribble down the morning line odds for the horses and kind of work them back into my past performances. You can see here, I've got that morning line handwritten 15-1 on here. I don't want to be influenced by the morning line odds when I do my original handicapping. So I print the past performances on entry day when they first come out, and then I'll fill them in. And I like the fact that after I like a horse, the odds are juicy, and then that makes me feel even better about their chances. Now I'll take a look at that morning line and see, did I miss something on a horse? You know, like maybe I overlooked a horse and Nick's got the horse morning line at 3-1, and I have to like go back and say, what did I miss here? And try to, get back inside, reenact what he was going through in the process of making the morning line and try to see what he saw. So that I don't miss anything. But Crypto Corey, 15-1. It's just pure coincidence that 3 horses in a row that I picked are 15-1. Now, Crypto Corey had a decent debut. Why am I picking this particular horse? There's a couple angles for it. First off, the debut winner, Super Kick, ran extremely well and drew off from the field. This horse tried to press that one from the 12 hole in the debut at Churchill Downs for a trainer, and Donnie K. Von Hamel, who's an outstanding trainer. Once upon a time, he was one of the most underrated trainers in America. He had a great horse named Clever Trevor, who ran second in the Travers Stakes, won a lot of big races, took him to the Breeders' Cup. He won a Breeders' Cup race in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Von Hamel can certainly train with the best of them. He doesn't have the stock he once had, but he can win when he comes here to Keeneland in the fall. Look at these numbers. With 2-year-olds in the fall meets and Keeneland went back to dirt, he's only run 13 horses here. He's got 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. And this is from a barn that doesn't have that many horses back like they used to years ago. Von Hamel can get a good one. This horse showed some talent in the debut before backing out of it. I think it's an interesting spot in here. I don't think there are any world beaters in this particular maiden race, so I'm giving a shot to Crypto Corey. Again, this race is restricted to horses who sold for $65,000 or less. So Von Hamel's runners, this one by game winner, can fit better in these kind of spots. This is a $45,000 purchase for Robert Zellner. He and Zellner have had a lot of star stakes horses in Oklahoma over the years. This one they're going to give a shot to at Keeneland. I think that says something. This horse could be running at Remington Park for, about half or a third of the purse money in Maiden Special Weight Company and be a standout favorite. The fact that they want to go to run at Keeneland for $85,000 for a barn that's 5 for 13 in the exacta with 2-year-old maiden specials here at Keeneland, I think that says something. I'm going to take a shot in here, Crypto Corey. I've made the case for the long shot. Let's see who the other handicappers have here in race number 4. The 9 picked on top in here, the 4 Sleeping for Freedom, and the 9 Race Ready on the bookends for Scott and for Kim. I've got the 9 picked 4th in this particular spot. I have it as 10, 4, 8, and 9. The 4 Sleeping on Freedom is my second choice. Late running debut at Churchill. Again, this is a Kenny McPeak trainee. The barn heating up a bit of late, obviously, in the last couple days. Hopefully this horse improves second start of the career. Didn't get out of the gate much in the debut. and then kind of rushed up and rushed up into the race from the back end. So a better break for Sleeping from Freedom. Maybe can run better in this particular spot. The 8 race Ready in there for Norm Cassie. Bet to the favorite status in the career debut, sold for $65,000. So this is a horse who was at the peak level that you can be sold for and still be eligible for this auction maiden special. Race Ready in here with Irad, certainly a horse that was useful. But give me the 10 in here at 15-1. Crypto Corey. This is a horse, again, we're taking some shots here, and they're not all going to be plays of the day just because they're 15-1. Some of them are, more reaches than others. Some you have a little bit better feel for than others. But at 15-1, any one of these three can be a day maker if we can get them in races 2, 3, and 4. And all that is before we get to the $408,000 pick 6 carryover. That's right. We're getting set to start handicapping races 5 through 10 on the card for Saturday on this 8th day of the meet at Keeneland, and the biggest pick 6 carryover of the season. No question about it to this point. 5.5 furlong turf sprint. These are 2-year-olds. You think 2-year-olds at Keeneland, you think turf sprints at Keeneland, you got to think Wesley Ward. He seems to be, the dominant influence in these kind of races. He's got some horses that we're going to look at in races like this on Sunday, but he has no entries in this particular race. So kind of opens the field up a little bit because a lot of people would be defaulting to Wesley Ward in a 2-year-old turf sprint. But I'll tell you what, number 5, Lady Jancis, is in a beautiful post position. Posts 3, 4, and 5 in these 12-horse turf sprint fields have a big advantage, especially in the maiden and allowance ranks that we've seen over the years. Lady Jancis, really well bred in here. Speightstown homebred for Stone Street Stables. Bullet workout in the morning for Steve Asmussen. Debuts here in a perfect post. Irad Ortiz rides 30% jockey in Keeneland turf sprints over the past 5 years or so. He is absolutely the best turf sprint rider here at Keeneland. He and Joel Rosario. He's perfectly drawn in this spot. So give me the 5 in here, Lady Jancis. This is going to be one I'm going to try to get going with the pick 6 with number 5. The 10 in here, Triskelion, is a horse who's by Leinster, and Leinster was a really nice turf sprinter over this course. I believe set the turf course record during that summer COVID meet when the track was hard as a rock, but Leinster rarely ran a bad race over the turf here at Keeneland. Really was a great turf sprinter here. Rusty Arnold trains. I think Triskelion, the 10 horse, is going to be a factor in this one as well. Let's take a look at the handicapper selectors box for race number 5. I've got Lady Jancis on top, the 10 second. It's the same 5-10 combination for Kim in this particular spot. 5 and 10, pick second and third for Tom Leach. 10 picked on top for Scott. So as you're looking at a pick 6 and starting here in race number 5, this is a position, I think, in the 5th race where you could probably get by 2 deep and feel fairly decent about it. Tom's got the 6 Bella Liberty in at a price. You maybe give that one another look. First-time starter for trainer Joe Sharp. Tom gives his long shot plays of the day on the Today at Keeneland show every morning on the simulcast feed at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Tune in. Maybe that will be his long shot play of the day, and you'll get more reasoning why he likes Bell of Liberty in there. The rest of us are kind of settling in around the 5-10 area. I love the 5 in this particular spot. I think you're going to run a big race in here. 5-10 cold exacta for me. If you're playing the pick 6, is it a gutsy single to start with a first-time starter? Absolutely. I would play the exacta cold, but in terms of a pick 6, I'm going too deep in here. The 5 and the 10 to get things started in race number 5. That'll be one of my key plays of the day because as we have some other races around there where we say you might want to spread here, you got a couple 15-1s leading into it. When you're talking about the early pick 4 and the early pick 5, if we can get to this 5th race and lock down a horse who I think is going to run really well in the 5, Lady Jancis, the 10, Triskelion as the second choice in there, that can kind of narrow our ticket a little bit down. And if we just hit one of those 15-1 shots leading in races 2, 3, and 4, we could be in that cash out leg in race number 5 in the early pick 4 or the early pick 5 and really have a chance on a narrow back end of the ticket, anchoring things with the 5 and the 10. We'll go to the 6th race next as the late pick 5 gets underway here in race number 6. This might be one of the situations where we're going to have a horse who's favored pretty solidly when we talk about the pick 6. Number 8 in here, Hilarito. Hilarito is a horse who's going to be favored something to 5 in here. Top choice for Scott and I. David Jacobson's got this one, who I wrote loose on the lead. Really, this horse has been on top in every career start, has won 5 of 6 with a second place finish. And if you look up and down the past performances of this 6.5 furlong allowance race, there's not a lot of early foot speed in this race. I mean, find the number one on the past performance lines of a horse in this race early in the field. I mean, I don't see any with the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. The 5 hasn't made the lead early. The 6 hasn't made the lead early. The 7 has made the lead early once. The 8 certainly has plenty of speed. The 9 has made the lead once. I mean, unless the 7 and 9 just go all out to try to hustle this horse, hustle around this horse, Hilarito, this horse is going to be clear and really no excuse. The 6.5 furlong distance will be the question. Absolutely. You got to worry about that. But when trainer David Jacobson's horses run, they typically really run. I think Hilarito is going to be the most singled horse in the pick 6 sequence. If you beat this horse, now you're starting to look at a situation where you could get a big bomb return. But if Hilarito wins, it's going to narrow a lot of tickets down to pick 5s, because I think this is one where a lot of folks are going to try to lower their budget, reduce their budget, and try to get through with a single. I wouldn't argue with that so much, but I do think there are some other options in this race. And by beating the 8, I think you do some good. So who else might we use in addition to the 8? The 7, Easy Red's got a good shot in here. This is a horse by Omaha Beach, a winner over the track here at Keeneland. The Omaha Beaches love it here at Keeneland. We've seen them already run and win at prices this week. Eddie Keneally's barn gets Luis Saez. Always a good jockey-trainer combo, 21% here at Keeneland with those two. Easy Red could certainly be a factor in this spot. I think the 5, One Magic Filly. She won the Chillingworth Stakes out at Santa Anita last year, went to the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint at 10-1. I mean, she was a live shot in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. She hasn't had a great year this year, 0-3, but she's been around it a couple times. She comes east. We saw a Del Mar winner for Bob Hess earlier today. Maybe we get Brendan Walsh first time on the trainer change here from Phil D'Amato. One Magic Filly would be no real surprise in here. She can run. The 2 in here, Marmalade Style, David Jacobson, Irad Ortiz. Jacobson's got 2 in here. He puts Irad on his quote-unquote other horse. Certainly, you can make a case that the 2 Marmalade Style fits. Finished at the neck behind Easy Red last time. So while I think the 8 is going to be a short price and a lot of people going after her, this is a filly who probably has the pace advantage. It's going to be tough to beat for that reason. But because it's 6.5 furlongs and because there are other good options, I think it behooves you to get a few extra horses tossed in there. And if you can beat this favorite, that's going to really jack up your potential payoff. So race number 6, very interesting race. And it's going to be really key to the return and the payoffs in the pick 6. Again, that's 6th race on the card. Race number 7 is going to be one of our key plays of the program. It's going to kick off the pick 4 on races 7 through 10, late pick 4. It's going to be the second leg of the Keeneland Turf pick 3. Now, we like Lady Jancis, the 5 and the 10 in race number 5. That's part of the Keeneland Turf pick 3 to start. Now we come here to race number 7 with a horse that I'm going to make a gutsy single on in this particular spot, and that's number 6, Chapman's Peak. 5-1 in the morning line. Chapman's Peak, well-bred runner here. Quality Road, the sire. Dickinson, the dam. Godolphin, homebred. Dickinson was an outstanding race mare. Brad Cox trains, and this horse, as a 3-year-old, just seems to be getting better with each start. The win last time out, I really liked at Kentucky Downs, and I wanted to see, because earlier this week, we had the runner-up Blast Furnace and the 3 Gold Sovereignty come back and run in a maiden special weight race. And I thought, if Chapman's Peak is what I think he is, these 2 horses might run pretty well in this spot. Not only did they run pretty well, they ran 1-2 in that race earlier this week. I think that really underscores the quality of Chapman's Peak. You get Irad for Brad Cox, and I think this horse is just moving the right direction. I'm not a big advocate of the speed figures, but if you look at the speed figures, 49, 64, 67, 80, just moving on up. I think Chapman's Peak, the single for me in the pick 6, the morning line price is at 5-1, not the morning line favorite. Valentinian, the 3, is the morning line favorite here in race number 7. Let's see what the other handicappers have across the way. 2 picks for Valentinian in here, Scott Hazelton and Kim Nelson. So if the public follows suit with the way they look at it, then Chapman's Peak very well might be the second or third wagering choice in this race. Valentinian, certainly a regal pedigree, $1.5 million colt by Into Mischief out of Rachel's Valentina. That means her grandma is the great Rachel Alexandra. Of course, Rachel Alexandra was all dirt. Valentinian through 7 career starts, all dirt. How will Valentinian run at 1 mile and 3/16 over the turf? That'll be a question. But certainly the horse has done not much wrong in the career. 7 starts, 6 shots in the money, all 7 in the superfecta. And the distance here to mile and 3/16 should definitely be within the stretch of Valentinian, who won that trip at Saratoga. Did get a little flat on the back end at 6-5 when running a distance second in there, but it was a pretty good race. Whittington Park came back and won out of that one. I'm not sure if Valentinian wants to go this far, but I think the horse is of some quality for sure. Chapman's Peak, though, I think absolutely wants to go this far. Has already proven at a mile and 5/16 winning. And again, that Dickinson on the dam side of the pedigree, really like that. 6-9-3-7, the way I'm stacking it up. And that's going to be my single here in race number 7 and one of my absolute key plays on the card. And again, in the Keeneland Turf Pick 3, if we go back to the snapshot, 2 deep in race number 5, a single in race number 7. That sets us up nicely to get into that Keeneland Turf Pick 3. We definitely want to be betting the Keeneland Turf Pick 3 on this card. And now we're talking about the carryover Pick 6. We got a couple races in here where maybe we can beat a favorite in race 6, but even if the favorite wins, I think you've got to use them. 2 deep in the 5th, spread a little bit in the 6th, single in the 7th. You can start to see a Pick 6 play for $1 that's not looking that expensive to this point. We'll see if we can continue through that and keep an affordable enough ticket to go after that $408,000 carryover. I'll move you next to race number 8, 6 furlong sprint here, second level allowance race. And in race number 8, no new wagers are going to start in this particular spot. Number 1, Stilettos has been all around it, favored in 3 of the last 4 starts, favored in 5 races overall out of 7. Always runs first or second, it seems like, except the Pocahontas Stakes last year. Stilettos, the 1, 4-1 in the morning line. I think definitely one you need to consider in here. I've got the 3, though, Mega Mill at 10-1 in the morning line as my top choice. This horse broke the maiden at Aqueduct in December. Based out of Parks with John's service, but hasn't run at Parks. John's gone completely on the road with this Daughter of Honor AP. Mega Mill was a nice winner at Aqueduct. Then shipped this summer to Ellis Park, picked off a nice win. Service had another Ellis Park winner from Mainline Stables and others that won nicely in Ellis Park in the turf sprint ranks. Mega Mill won on the main track. Then they tried the Dogwood at Churchill Downs, broke slow, rushed up, and then ended up 4th in that particular spot. The winner won by 2 1/4 ragtime. This was a pretty good race for a step slow break and then rushing up. I think Mega Mill, if this horse can get out of the gate a little cleanly or more cleanly this time, I think they got a chance for an upset in here at 10-1 in the morning line. Plenty of respect for the 1 Stilettos for Brett Calhoun. I riding that one. Winner of the Ellis Park debutante last year. And like I said, this horse has been first or second in 6 out of 7 starts. Stiletto the 1, Mega Mill the 3. Anybody else we want to look at near? Anna Karina the 8. She's 3 for 10 lifetime. She's an all or nothing type. Usually those kind have to make the lead in order to be effective. 2 of her 3 wins, both of them on the main track that we're talking about, were wire-to-wire victories. She was able to stalk and pounce on the turf. I don't know if Anna Karina gets the lead in this particular race. She might be the fastest one in this spot, but I think some others might be. She's by Vacoma, though. She's bred to love the main track here at Keeneland. She's run probably as good or better on the dirt than she has on the turf. So I think Anna Karina's got a shot in here. The 8 horse, that one also at a nice 5-1 morning line price. Others to consider in here, the 5 Princess Proud, the 9 Gins Beach Road. Pretty good race here in race number 8. The 7 Moon Mystique picked on top by Scott. But Stilettos is first or second with everybody, so you definitely want to have Stilettos, I think, in the mix when you're looking at the pick 6 and the late pick 4 and pick 5. But I think the 3 Mega Mill, one that can at 10-1 get you in here at a price. Second choice in here for Kim. Kim and I have a lot of common thoughts throughout the course of this card, so I'm liking that. She's had good meat handicapping. Stilettos in there for Tom as well. Moon Mystique, the 7 on top for Scott. Moon Mystique, 2 for 2 lifetime for trainer Ethan West. Alex Ashard will be aboard that one, looking for a 3rd straight win. 1 at Indy, 1 at Ellis, and now we'll try to win at Keeneland. But give me the 3, the 1, and probably the 8. I'll probably want to be 3 deep in this particular spot, but that's where I'm going to cut it off. You could argue 3 and 1, but I think Anna Karina is probably worth keeping in here in the mix in race number 8. To the 9th we go next. It's the featured Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup, final leg of the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. And as we mentioned in the Keeneland Turf Pick 3, we're 2 deep in the 5th. We're singling in the 7th. So even though this Turf Pick 3 is a $3 minimum wager, we've only spent $6 in combinations, 2 by 1 to this point. So each horse we use in the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup would cost us $6 on our Keeneland Turf Pick 3. I think you've got to use the 2 Lynn. This horse is 5 for 5 lifetime for trainer Graham Motion. She's won everywhere they sent her, from Aqueduct to Penn National to Saratoga. She doesn't win flashily. She's just very effective. She doesn't draw far out of the race. She can kind of make her trip and put her where she needs to be. Kendrick Carmouche is a jockey who does most of his best work on the front end, and maybe they'll be a little more forwardly placed in this particular race just because of a lack of known speed in here. Opulent Restraint might want to go towards the front in here, but there's not a lot of defined pace in here whatsoever. And given her ability to track the pace and be 2, 3, 4 lengths off of it, and the fact that she's drawn inside with a speed jockey like Carmouche, I think there's going to be a lot of variables just removed here. I look for Laura Lynn to go to the lead in here. If she's not on the lead, she's probably sitting second in here, maybe behind Opulent Restraint, and she gets that first over chance. I think that's a very good trip for her. I like the one Lush Lips to run a good one. She's run good in almost every race that they've sent her since she's come to the United States and come to Brendan Walsh's barn. She's run here 5 times in the U.S., 6 times rather, with 3 wins, 3 seconds. Comes off a second in the Del Mar Oaks. You might say, well, do you want to travel from Del Mar and run here in the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup? In the 19 years in our database that we have at Keeneland.com, the 19 winners of the Queen Elizabeth the Challenge Cup, 4 of them have come via Del Mar, which is a significant number when you think about how few horses come from Del Mar to Keeneland this time of year. Del Mar Oaks has been a really good stepping stone race to the QE2. Lush Lips was a good second in the Del Mar Oaks last time out for trainer Brendan Walsh. Good meet for Walsh. Obviously, you get to save ground. Lush Lips has shown a little bit of pace back a ways, but lately hasn't had the speed. It'll be interesting to see what they want to do tactically, but Lush Lips and Laura Lynn, they might just kind of control this race near the front, and I could see 2-1, 1-2 all the way around the track. And that's kind of the way I'm going in this particular spot. I know the 9 Fion's got talent. She's going to come flying from the back of the pack. She's won 6 of 8 overall with a couple second and third place finishes. She doesn't give herself a lot of leeway. I mean, she won by a half, by a nose and a half in her last 3. But that was at Churchill, Saratoga, and Kentucky Downs. She can take her course with her. But the one thing is, when she ran here in the Appalachian Stakes back in the spring, she never really got uncorked like she has in some other races when Nitrogen and Vixen ran away for her 1-2 for Mark Casse that day. Probably the flattest race of her career was the race here at Keeneland in the spring. Not to say that she won't like the course for sure, but if you're trying to take a shorter price on Fion, who's 3-1 in the morning line, I think that's a reason maybe to lean towards some of the others. Opulent Restraint, I have respect for, but sort of flattens out on the back end of races. Looks like one for second or third more likely than the win end for Opulent Restraint. So I have this race 2-1-9-5 the way I line it up, and I will try to get by with the 2 and the 1. Laura Lynn and Lush Lips for me, the top 2 in here, 2 deep. So then we're looking at a $12 ticket in the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. We're going 2 by 1 by 2 in the Turf Pick 3. And again, as we get through this Pick 6, we really only have one semi-spread race so far, and that was the one with Hiliberto. And if you actually spread in that race with Hilarito in race number 6, you might be beating a favorite who's 8-5, 7-5, and just having the second or third choice in that race might be really effective in terms of the Pick 6. We're not short on prices. It's not like we're leaning all over chalk here. So even by limiting these tickets, I think we got a chance to get a nice payer if we're correct on the Pick 6. Look, it's a struggle to pick 2 winners at Keeneland, so picking 6 is difficult. We know that. We're not downplaying the difficulty that's involved. But with a $408,000 carryover in the Pick 6, it's kind of foolhardy not to take a look at it. This can be life-changing money passing hands on Saturday at Keeneland, and the budget is up to you. How much money you want to spend is up to you. You control how much you lose in racing. They control how much you win. So keep that in mind as you're budgeting your Pick 6 ticket. Race number 10 wraps things up for us here on the card. A Toyota Super High 5 race. 10th race is a starter allowance, 6.5 furlongs. I went with number 12 in here, Sinister Smile, yet another potential price on the way out the door. 8-1 in the morning line here. Gennaro Garcia, who had a winner on the card today, trains a Sinister Smile. Edgar Morales aboard. He had 2 wins on the card today. Made these picks before either of those scenarios were known. But I think the class drop for this one, this horse really fits the conditions well. It's for starter allowance 50s, horses who ran for $50,000 or less. once or at least once in their career. This horse dropped in for 50 just one time and ran a good second in that race back in April at Churchill Downs and was claimed out of that race. Won for $100,000 on the maiden claiming ranks. I think a class drop after facing tougher in recent starts, and the fact that this one's by Practical Joke. You know I love the Practical Joke statistically over this racetrack. They continue to run well on the main at Keeneland. This horse is 6 for 10 in the money. Give me the 12 in here, Sinister Smile. Not a key play on the day. I think you want to get a little more coverage in here, especially if you're looking at the late pick 4, pick 5, or if you're live in that pick 6. You'll definitely want to have the 9 in here, Count the Brave. David Jacobson, Jose Ortiz teaming up here. This horse comes off a big win. This is the kind of horse you can definitely see Jacobson winning with. Also the 6, Uncle William, the other David Jacobson in this race, coming off a victory. I think you've got to use both of those, 12, 9, and 6. The other one that I want to use in here is number 3, Dive Bomber by Omaha Beach. Again, these pedigrees to love the track here at Keeneland. We haven't seen Dive Bomber run over the track, but this is another one that beautifully fits the conditions. Last time out, dropped in for a claiming tag for the first time, right at the $50,000 max level, non-winners of 2, and won that race as a favorite at Churchill Downs. Now claimed off that race. If Brian Lynch was still the trainer or Brad Cox, the previous trainers, the price on this horse would probably be half of what you're going to get on Saturday. The fact that Aaron Shorter was the claiming trainer last time, 2% trainer. A lot of people are going to jump off a Dive Bomber and say, I'm not betting a 2% trainer. While I get that, this horse was just claimed September the 4th. So whenever a good trainer loses a horse to a lower percentage trainer, you might think it's a negative trainer move. The sooner they run that horse back in a race, the better. The former trainer's program and fitness, the nutritional supplements, all that usually accompany the higher price, the bigger barns, like a Brian Lynch, like Brad Cox previously with Dive Bomber, that's still with that horse. The further they get away from that bigger outfit and the more they go to a lower percentage trainer like Aaron Shorter, then maybe you start to see the performance slip further away. If this horse had been laid off 2.5, 3 months and then comes back for a 2% trainer, probably a toss. But just ran September 14th, won. They come back on 4 weeks, right in form cycle. Why not? Has a workout since then. In fact, 2 workouts since then for Dive Bomber since that race. No workouts, I should say. No works in the 4 weeks. Looking at that one, the last work was September 7th. So, but I think Dive Bomber, look, I like the pedigree for sure. The Omaha Beach is dragging me in, and the fact that the horse really fits the conditions of this race drags me in. But you're going to get a better price, I think, 9-2 in the morning line. I think this horse goes up off of that. I know the buyer figure is pretty good, but people are not going to bet 2% trainer. A guy who's 2 for 90 on the year, he's not going to get a lot of play in the win pool at Keeneland, typically so. So I think that's one you want to include. 12, 9, 6, and 3 for me in the finale to wrap things up. We're no deeper than, say, 4 in most of these races. Maybe you go to as deep as 5 in that race number 6 in the pick 6. But I think this can be a rather affordable ticket with a single in there of Chapman's Peak, a 2 deep in the ninth race. You got a couple other 2 deep options in the 5th race. And say if we go to 4 deep here in the nightcap, 12, 9, 6, and 3 would be the way I look at it. A lot of connections in here for the 6 and the 9 amongst the other public handicappers. The 1 did it dialed, picked on top by Kim Nelson in there. Give that one a little extra look if you're considering adding another horse. Pretty good races on the dirt for that one. Last time out, didn't pick up a hoof on the turf at Kentucky Downs. Maybe one just to draw a line through and get back on the dirt. Brian Lynch, good trainer in there. We'll see how that one did it dialed ends up being backed by the public. But Kim's on the island there. No one else has the 1. That's the way I'm going to take a look at this Saturday card. Looking forward to it enthusiastically. But look, hey, we got our head handed to us today. A lot of handicappers did. A lot of big prices on the tote. But hope springs eternal in this game, and that's what we're going to look forward to on Saturday. We know the dead money in the pool is a player's advantage. $408,000 of it in that pick 6. So life-changing potential score coming up on Saturday. Get yourself some prices. Get yourself some logicals. Mix it up. Put a good pick 6 ticket together. And then come back here tomorrow night and tell me which one of you hit it, because I want to be celebrating with you all. Hopefully we're celebrating together, me and many of you. in the Pick Six coming up tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, to preview the Sunday card. The Franklin Stakes is the feature race on Sunday. Looking forward to that. Tomorrow morning around 11 o'clock, after scratches and changes come out, I'll update those for you, not only on social media, on X, on the Keeneland feed, as well as Horse Player Now on X, but also send out a Substack email notice each morning. I send out of the Keeneland races my updated picks, selections, and thoughts, final thoughts going into the card. It's free at Substack, jeremyplonk.substack.com. Sign up for it today. You also get information beyond the Keeneland meet, other tracks around the country, leading into Breeders' Cup, Triple Crown season, and all that. So sign up for it, jeremyplonk.substack.com. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody. Good luck on this big Pick Six Saturday coming up.